This was a pet project of the Google leadership team in India called the Next Billion Online. And we were supposed to increase the internet penetration in India. Back then, it was just 10%. The first set of people that we worked with was students. We presented to Google saying, hey, this is the impact, and we showed videos and other things with children smiling, and it was a goosebump moment for us. However, they were like, can you quantify this smiles, right? And that's the first instance of how important data, metrics, number, measuring impact was for us. Well, I started my career back when the word startup was not known. So I piggybacked on a lot of startup growth curve, the startup bubble, so to speak. And then when I completely got into, I did not know I will be getting into marketing, but what I was basically doing is growing technology brands, right? So helping these tech brands grow B2C apps, B2B SaaS, and now proper deep tech hardware brands, right? And one of the things that I knew was hand in hand was communication. And therefore, communication was all comms or PR was always a very active part of my journey. What I realized is data is very, very important in my first job itself. And this was a pet project of the Google leadership team in India called the Next Billion Online. And we were supposed to increase the internet penetration in India. Back then, it was just 10%. So we were working on projects that was working towards increasing this internet penetration. And we were the first set of people that we worked with was students from a village, a town, a city, right? So this was one of our first presentations, and we presented to Google saying, hey, this is the impact, and we showed videos and other things with children smiling, and it was a goosebump moment for us. However, they were like, can you quantify this smiles, right? And that's the first instance of how important data, metrics, number, measuring impact was for us. So what we did is we went back and we came up with the metric of measuring, collecting data. That is, we understood how they were before a particular curriculum that we had developed and how much they were post. And that is my first touch point with data as well as metrics. So we realized it was a 70% improvement in their, internet knowledge. And henceforth, there was no looking back because Google proliferated that entire curriculum across India. So it was a successful project. So what I remember is data is really important. Very, very, at a very young age for me, it had become an integral and a very fundamental part of everything I do. So obviously, data, impact, ROI, decisions based on data, everything became a part of my career henceforth. I keep quoting Edward Deming, in God we trust, all others bring data. So basically, PR's been a very tough place where tough segment, PR and branding in general has been a very difficult place to incorporate any ROI or metrics. But obviously you have to have ROI and metrics. As I said, it is really important, should show the input and measure the output in terms of impact, and therefore justifying ROI. So I think when it comes to typical campaigns, what I do is I measure it in two phases. One is the pre-campaign and one is the post-campaign. In pre-campaign, I see what are the targeted media list and a curated, data-backed curated set of journals. Like, for example, journalists are very sensitive people. They don't like receiving any kind of spam. They don't want, they want to make sure that they receive information only about the topics they talk, and they are a very important asset for us. So we curate this data into different buckets, saying these are the guys who would probably like funding news, these are the guys who like technology and product features and that kind of news. So that is again data backed and a measured list of journalists. Then of course there's keywords, there's trends, there's competitors, social media engagement rates, and the regular run of the mill things that you measure. So, and of course the website metrics. Now the post data PR, for PR that I'd measure is number of PR coverages and mentions. These are the, again, very run of the mill PR numbers, KPIs that you measure. But I also segregate it into two lists. One is the targeted media tier 1 list that got picked up, that literally measures your conversion rate, and the targeted media coverage tier number 2, that is obviously the tier 2 media that covered your articles. And the one major thing that has helped me throughout is a few different things that measure the brand itself. One is the brand keyword search, that is the clicks and the impressions that you can get. In fact, one of my PRs which we did in 2021 Jan, it was just a simple PR around IdeaForge receiving an order of 20 million from the Indian Army. This went viral, and the reason it went viral is because it was one of the marquee deals in the entire Indian drone ecosystem. So it was a big deal for the industry itself and for the defense industry as well. So, you had all defense influencers and others and drone influencers talking about it. So what I realized is our brand literally picked up 100x, which means our brand keyword search became 100x. That's literally like, if today you have one person searching for IdeaForge, just post the PR, I had a 100x spike in my metrics. So that is a very important number that I keep recommending all PR enthusiasts to search for, because that is a direct hit on your measurement, right? You can justify that number to anyone. You can just say that today your brand is worth 1, tomorrow your brand is worth 100x. So it's like literally increasing your market valuation for your brand. Google Analytics, SEMrush, Google Search Console, and I also like Visiki's trends feature, because you can see how your competitors are faring. You can see what is the trends like. If I don't have a topic, I can always pick up a topic that's trending and talk about it. So these things really help, because you cannot be just doing traditional PR where you just expecting something to fly because you think it's good news. It has to be aligned with the audience and the trends. So I work for a firm called Lookup. Lookup was, this news was about a funding news that we were like waiting to announce, right? Like, it was Pistone, our Twitter co-founder, had invested in Lookup. And Lookup was, a small startup based out of Bangalore. And, Twitter co-founder, for the first time, investing in an Indian startup was I knew this news would go viral. So what happened, we had everything ready. We were working with a PR agency back then. Everything was ready. It was just about pressing that one button, right? But then what happened, Pistone randomly tweets, hey, I'm excited about this funding, something like that. And he says, I've funded Lookup. Lookup is a Bangalore, India-based, because a lot of people might not even know where Bangalore is. So India-based startup and things like that. And then I have calls to 3 and 4 in the morning, like, oh my God, the news went viral. We had like a couple of thousand, I think we hit like 1 million downloads that time. And it went viral. And then we had to release the news immediately and catch up on everything that, release a formal news about about the funding and things like that. like all things nowadays, everything is taking towards automation. Everything's taking towards AI. And as I said, that we will have to customize our content, our releases according to the trends of the market, and not just follow our own trends. So somewhere I was just saying that we live in the metaverse right now. So we have to adopt to change, and there are more and more tools coming up, a lot of automation happening. uh, I am very much for data backed automated PR. I would just say that would definitely be the future, and I'm hoping that's the future too, because traditional PR, and in fact, nowadays, just look at it, right? Like, who even reads? Newspaper is good, print articles is good, but we also weigh digital articles way above print articles today. So that's print going out of its way, and digital print is taking over. The first thing is prepare. Preparation is extremely important for anything, right? So we, in fact, at IdeaForge, we have this value that says prepare and take off. So preparation is very important because you can measure things, you can collect the right data, plan your campaigns accordingly. You can target your campaign to the right audience so that you receive more conversion rates, and not regret post facto. Like, try to prepare really, really well. Identify what should be the KPIs for your campaign. Like, for example, for me, it might be brand search, brand keyword search results. For you, it might be something else. It might be just increased number of leads, or targeting that one particular company that you've been looking to catch hold of, or a group of kind of organizations you want to catch hold of. So defining the objective before a campaign is very important. And based on the objectives, the KPIs will follow. Define them, measure them well before you start a campaign. And then, of course, post campaign, again, measure all the results. Just don't be happy with mentions and mentions and media mentions. What if media mentions and the articles, what I've also realized is, when you talk more about these articles, when you share them and pump them up, amplify them in your social media, the results are much higher. Like, one of our to give you just an example, one of our articles went viral when an influencer reposted about it. So post that, we got more coverage, right? So a campaign is not really over until you actually use content marketing for the same. And then that is about the campaign. And finally, I don't think there is a cookie cutter formula for how to do successful PRs. There is just a few thumb rules, like I've just mentioned. Discover what is your formula by analyzing data, concluding what your KPI should be for your industry, for your organization, for the goals of the organization, and then you draw conclusions whether a particular campaign was successful or not, or the kind of changes that you have to do, and what is the formula that you can conclude on.